Good morning from the second age of reason. We're here to just speculate about some ruling that may come from the Supreme Court regarding marriage equality. Things have been going back and forth about this. Some states have it and other states don't have it. And now there's a lawsuit that's made it all the way to the Supreme Court for a decision, one way or the other. So, let's look at some of the aspects that could be considered. I think I know what the eventual decision is going to be, and you can rate and comment below what you think it is before this video ends, because I'll tell you what I think it's going to be at the end. But I'll tell you some things in advance that I think are mitigating factors. Those things, one, which I think is probably the strongest, but many people tell me it's probably the weakest, is the separation of church and state. That Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. And in some religions, marriage is a sacrament. It's ordained by the church, which makes it perhaps hundreds or thousands of years old. And so I would say, what would give a government, city, state, or nation any jurisdiction over whether a church recognizes this or that as a marriage? It's a church's decision, and the church has to handle it. Then it's out of the specter of the government. Secondly, comes the aspect of equal protection under the law. That's a pretty good one, too. That why would you have it be this way here and that way there? Why would this couple have certain rights and that couple not? That's not equal protection under the law. It's also in terms of for things like the new health care law. In health care, they have HIPAA and who can have access to the information. And they want to keep it to like spouses or whatever in the family. And if they can define who the spouse is, they can define access. But then, on the other hand, if there is a financial question about the medical bill, HIPAA is thrown out the window, and the medical records become public information. And there's one other aspect I think might come into play the most, is interstate commerce. I don't know if that's it exactly, but what it amounts to is something that is perfectly legal in one state is illegal in another state. So that when you cross the state line, you've gone from being a citizen to being a criminal. Now, for certain things, you could say that's maybe okay. Like, let's say where Colorado legalizes cannabis, but cannabis is an easy choice. You can choose to use it here, and you can choose not to use it there, and it's not something that has to be a long-standing. You can choose not to have it at all. So that is not a big thing. But in the case of a marriage, it's a lifelong thing. It's an institution of society. So it's something that you just can't make and unmake as you cross the state line. That makes it more difficult. So I think having that inconsistency they might find problematic. This other thing I think that will decide it. Now, here's the clincher. Here's the part that's kind of like the spoiler. I think the Supreme Court will side with marriage equality. I think they will side with it. They'll say some dumb thing like interstate commerce or equal protection under the law. But what they really are siding with is money. You see, there's this thing, and I think it's still in effect. It's called the marriage penalty tax. It's not an explicit tax per se, but it's the way taxes are assessed. And if you file singly, you pay less taxes than if you file married jointly. Well, you have a potential here of having millions more filing married jointly and having the marriage penalty tax, meaning increased revenues, meaning it's a side of money. Plus, you have all those marriage ceremonies to perform, you have potentially lots of divorce ceremonies to perform, and lots of household expenses and insurance things. It's big, big money. So I think the Supreme Court will uphold it, will say, yes, we can have marriage equality that they want. And that's what they'll do, because it's siding with money. I'm not going one way or the other right now, but that's just a spoiler. But that's what I think it is. So let's see what happens in June when they come out with their final decree. Maybe I'll be totally wrong, but I'm making it now, April 1st, indeed, and until later, we'll be seeing you. Another aspect of this marriage equality thing is, what is marriage but a vow or an oath? And it's just a matter of getting recognition about that vow or oath being recognized and sanctioned and upheld. There are other things that people take for oaths and vows, such as into military service, into public service, into political office. And who's to say then? In essence, you have taken an oath and you are married to that institution. And you have to abide by the rules and laws of that institution by means of the oath or vow you have taken. So I just thought I would point that out as something else that is sort of a marriage of sorts, because when you take that vow or oath, you are obligated to certain things. And so that's it for now. I'll just put that out there in passing. Until later, we'll be seeing you.